Right guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. Today you are going to join me to have a look at this bike, my fairly-ish, new to me, Aprilia V4 Factory 1100. This bike is, I've had it for about a month now, and I'm going to give you my honest views on it. A couple of things I've done to it already, just to improve it the way I like, and I'm going to tell you if I think this bike is worth buying still in 2025 and 2026, or going into 2026. So yeah, stay tuned if you want to learn about this bike. So first things first, this I paid about 10 grand for this bike, and I got it from Superbike Factory. Alarm bells ringing. I said this in my last video. Basically I went through it all in that video, but I bought it, I was happy with it, I still am happy with it. I haven't found any horrible demons with it or anything like that. I have had a couple of little horrible things, such as the indicators. When I first got those, there was like a bird's nest up there. It had an anodized oil filter. It still has these anodized bar end weights, which I don't really like and I shall replace, but you know, overall it's pretty good. There's a ditch here. Is that a bone? No, it's not. So I've done a couple of things to the bike since buying it. I've added some protection here just in case I fall off. You know, we never know when that's going to happen. Giving it a good clean. Last week I added a new ZVM, I think it's ZVMX or ZXMV2 chain, X-ring chain. That's coupled with a Renthal sprocket. Kept it standard gearing because I'm pretty happy with it as it is. Got my quad lock on. This screen was standard when I bought the bike. I still want to get some new levers because these are horrible. The brake, look at that, it goes all the way back to there. It's been bled as well, but yeah, they're still very good. But I added some easy grip tank grips as well, which is really good. I really like having the grips here with my legs. It felt horrible once I got rid of my old bike and then going onto a bike, but it was just pure shiny. Why does this jacket keep turning on? So hot as it is. Whew. I need a minute. I need a minute. I've also added at the front, I've got spindles for the axle sliders. Same with the rear, that's an Evotech one, even though it's red. And I think that's pretty much all I've done to it. Other than that, it's pretty good. Let's give it a listen to, shall we? This is classic YouTube, where you see someone walking away from the camera and starting up their bike just to rev it for you guys. Anyway, enjoy. V4 Sex. It is warm, by the way. And that's that. Let's get my phone. Get the hell out of here before the police come. Ali Hoya. Am I still recording? Yes I am. Hopefully this comes out. Anyway guys, let's go for a little ride. I'll tell you what I think about it. Oh, bit of airflow. It's a horrible time of the year at the moment where it's kind of like really warm if you wear a lot of clothes, but really cold if you're not. Anyway, what do I think of the Tuono? Oh, I like it. And traffic. Well, I'm going to skip past this so we can get on some roads so you don't just see me filtering the whole video. Now, I was well aware when I bought this bike that I was coming away from an MT10, in my opinion, probably one of the most underrated and fun bikes you can buy. And I was a bit worried that the Tuono was going to be a bit too much of a too much of an arrow rather than a sledgehammer, if that makes sense. The MT10 is a sledgehammer, and it's fun. It's not quite as refined as a Tuono. It doesn't have, you know, all the fancy stuff that the Tuono comes with, and it's a cheaper bike in general. The Tuono is, you know, it comes with all the bells and whistles, you know, pretty much that you would expect from a Tuono in the price range it's in. And I was a bit worried that it was going to be too much, too serious, too nice, you could say. Luckily that hasn't really been the case. As soon as I've started to get used to the Tuono, it is, don't get me wrong, it is more of an arrow than a sledgehammer. However, it's an arrow which, once it's fired, sounds like thunder, and that makes sense for the name. And I don't think you can have, you know, more fun on an MT10 than you can on this. I think they're both equally fun, which is good. I was worried that I was, you know, not gonna go. I was gonna come off a wheelie machine basically. The MT10 is such a wheelie machine, and it sounds so good that I thought, you know, sound sells me bikes. I'll be honest. As soon as I get on a bike and I listen to it, you know, it's what really sells it to me. But luckily, the Tuono is a bike that I look at and really love. Like, I really love the look of it and how it looks, how it sounds. I still think the MT10 is up there with, you know, equally as good sounding as a Tuono. I don't think they're any worse sounding. But you got to give the kids, I don't know what it is with kids. As soon as they see a bike, they're like, put their fucking wrist up and like give it some revs. But I do it every time. I'll be honest. I'm like a kid, I suppose. But yeah, so this, I'm happy to report, is just as fun. It wheelies pretty much just as easily. It's not quite as front end happy in like the first few gears as the MT10 was. The MT10 will come up slightly easier, but you know, it doesn't make any real difference, to be fair. I've gone away from the sort of power wheelie side of things now, and I've sort of started using the clutch. And I never used to do that because I basically wasn't good enough to do it, but now I do. But yeah, the question is the Tuono really worth the price point? I paid, you know, you can buy one of these bikes in this year. This is a 2020 factory. It has 7,000 miles on it now. I bought it with about 6.5, and it was about 10.5 when I bought it, but you can buy one privately for about 9 and a bit. So the question is, you know, and I sold my MT10 for about 6 grand. So is the £3,000 to £4,000 bit extra worth the money? I mean, you're getting a newer. What are you doing, idiots? Just stops outside the school because she's late to pick up her kids. Yeah. So really, the question, you know, is it worth that? In my opinion, it's tough. I don't think it's really, you know, worth it if you want to say, is it £4,000 better? I would say no. I can have just as much fun on MT10. It is a more comfortable naked bike with a big bark and, you know, a hammer of an engine. You know, I think when my MT10 blew up, it was kind of the nail in the coffin for it. It was, you know, I was like, that's it, I'm out. I fancy a new bike now. I thought it was time. I do think though, when you get on this bike and you ride it and you get used to it, you can see where that extra money is, and you can see where, you know, you can see where the Aprilia has the bling. And you can buy a more modern MT10, of course, and that will be up there, you know. I always get a bit annoyed when I see MT10s in group tests, because they always use a standard MT10 against an SP, or, you know, not an SP, what am I saying? They always use a standard MT10 against something like a factory Tuono or a BMW M1000R, and it's just like, of course it's not going to be as good as that. You know, an M1000 is £22,000, 25k if you want the competition. and it really irritates me how they get the full fat bikes from the other brands. They never seem to get an SP, but it is what it is, I suppose. I know how good the MT10 was. But yeah, so far I'm really loving the Aprilia. Like, I will do a proper review on the Aprilia, like you know, is this bike still worth buying maybe in the year 2025, 2026? Is it still worth getting a, I don't know what generation Aprilia this even is. I think it's like a second generation. They've got the third, haven't they? They got 1, 2, 3, yeah, I think, no, well, technically there's 4, I suppose. I don't know. This shape, whatever year that is. Must apologise for the lack of videos. I've been a bit ill and just so busy with life, so YouTube's been YouTube takes a lot of time to edit and stuff like that, so it's taken me a few minutes to get out on the bike, especially in this cold. First day out the other day when I was a bit like, I need some heated gloves. Luckily it's a sunny day today. Anyway, let's get on some twisties. Yes guys, got a few things to do really to make some content for the old channel. I've got the TL, which is still sat there wasting away. I bought some fairings from Fast Fairings, and essentially as they were being stored they got damaged, and they now look shit. So I'm back to square one with the old fairings, and the old fairings aren't that great, otherwise I wouldn't have bothered buying new ones. But I'm gonna have to see what it looks like, and either bite the bullet and buy new fairings again, or see if I can, you know, make something up of the old fairings and the new fairings combined. But that will get on the road one day. I need it to get on the road. I need it gone. It just takes up a space in my garage, as much as I love to look at it all the time. It's such a direct bike in the twisties. Like, as soon as you lean the Tuono, it is like an arrow. I keep saying an arrow, don't I? I need to stop that. But it's like, you know, you point it and it's there. It's not as stable as the MT10, I wouldn't say. It's called more twitchy as you go around the corner. It feels like generally a smaller bike, whereas the MT10 was so, I guess, heavier and sort of planted, and it didn't have that twitchiness really when you go around the corner. It just felt like you were on rails, and this is just a little bit more twitchy and a bit more, I don't know, alive, I guess. I don't know what the future plans for, you know, what anything else I want to do to the bike are. There's so many things you can do to bikes these days. I kind of just like a neat bike that's slightly set up for myself. You know, I think that's what makes a bike a bit more comfy in general, but that's pretty easy to do with levers and the classic Whiteways route up here. Anyway guys, that's it really. I just wanted a quick catch up and get a video out there really. But yeah, in short, I'm really loving the Tuono. So yes, it has lived up to the hype that I hoped it would. And I'm looking forward to having another summer on it. Well, my first summer on it, because I haven't actually experienced a summer on it yet. But yeah, anyway, thanks very much for watching. See you on the next one. Ciao for now.